born and raised in England,
Yes.
if I'm right. So, you know, having that culture as a British Indian and then moving into the US and living here and having that cultural aspect through food, how did that play in your life?
So I think many South Asians will, some of their first memories are of watching their moms and grandmas cook. So for me, it was, my dad also loves to cook.
Yeah.
So for me, it was, you know, watching my dadi make aloo ke paronte, watching my mom make her keema, watching my dad make certain dishes. So food is something that's huge in our family. Like we don't have one meal where we're talking about what are we gonna have for the next meal. It's just, that's how it's always been in our family.
Right.
And ghar ka khana is, I mean, it trumps everything, you know? I remember even being younger, we would go out to eat with my grandparents and my dada would always comment on how, oh, this your dadi can make better.
Right.
Oh, your dadi can make this better. So because he also just loved her food so much. So that was a big thing that I really wanted to have, you know, I wanted to master how to make my mom's dishes, my dadi's dishes, my nani's dishes. And so much of what you see in the restaurant is just butter chicken and dal makhani, butter chicken and dal makhani. And that's actually not ghar ka khana. Ghar ka khana is some of the simplest of meals.
That's so true.
And I wanted to preserve that because I felt that we were going into a very fusion driven or just a cream, you know, and fat laden dishes. And I wanted to bring that simple home ghar ka khana taste back.
Started this as an attempt to sort of just put forth recipes that you had learned from your mom, you know, growing up in England and then moving here. You know, you're someone that anyways represented this Indian born outside of the country, trying to stay a little bit close to the culture, correct?
Yes.
But then you took this blogging space and now it's kind of like your own personal grown business. You're an entrepreneur, you've sort of transformed it. So, you know, the transformation, it happened at a certain point. You had a key aspect to it. What was that?
So I had my little girl.
Yes.
And
Arya.
Yes. So she's also known as Little Mirchi on my blog.
Oh, so the love, laugh, Mirch people, the Mirchi is Arya, the little cute one that brings the
spice
happiness
to our life.
Spice.
Yes. So we had her, and at that point, my commute was so far, my husband's commute was so far, and we just felt that we weren't spending as much time as we would have liked to with my daughter.
Right.
So, you know, it just ended up working out. The cards fell in the right place that I took on writing more full time. And at that time, what ended up happening was I really wanted to, I was looking for holy ideas to celebrate with her. And I could not find any holy ideas for babies. There was nothing out there for how to celebrate Holi with a baby. And so I did a little research and I made some homemade paint with some flour and we played Holi at home with her. She was maybe 10, 11 months old. And the response I got was phenomenal of how to play.
This was a couple of years ago, correct?
This was a couple of years ago. And so I noticed that people want to see how we're bringing up Indian children here because having that connection, you want to keep it.
Right.
But you're also, you know, essentially you're raising a global citizen. You want them to be comfortable with their American roots as well as their Indian roots.
Right.
So that's kind of how I transitioned my blog into not just food, into culture as well.
Yeah.
I also felt like throughout the time that I was blogging before that, I would always pick up on festivals and try and incorporate that. I feel that in our culture, food is part and parcel with everything. You know, there's a celebration, there's food. There, you know, there's anything, there's a certain dish. It's just, it goes hand in hand.
But Nisha, why do you think there isn't even now enough space that's talking about that?
So I think the space is coming there, like it's there. So when I started, there were very few South Asian moms that were blogging about culture, language, you know, cooking with kids. I think it was a very, very niche space.
Yeah.
And now, especially in the time of Instagram, it has blown up out of proportion. Like there are so many people that are sharing, whether it's their struggles of how they grew up and trying to figure out their identity, whether it's other moms that are trying to figure out how to raise their children with you know, the best of both. I've definitely been blessed to be connected with a lot of businesses like mom-owned businesses that want to spread their mission, so they've created products that are helping children essentially stay in touch with their roots. A lot of what I share is things that I feel that other moms would benefit from. So for example, whether it's how to introduce like ghar ka khana to your children and Indian cooking and spices, to how we're celebrating, you know, certain festivals and how I'm enriching my daughter with our language and our religion.
Right.
I think some of those things are definitely points that I like to share on my whether it's Instagram, Facebook, my blog page.
And how have been some of your challenges? And also, you know, is it tough to sort of maintain realism at times? I know it's a trick question, but personal opinion on that.
Yeah, so realism, honestly, it all depends on what you like to share and how you share it. So there are certain things that are quite, for us, we hold dear, like, for example, bath time, bedtime, all those things are very personal to us.
Right.
I don't go there and share those things. What I find that my readers would find helpful. So whether it's, you know, an easy weeknight recipe, to maybe some books that I've read on Hinduism or on culture that I think other parents would benefit from.
Right.
Those are the type of things that I try and share.
Well, here we have these beautiful, nicely chilled little tart cups. I really like the way you're presenting this.
So what I decided to do was do a little twist on the traditional fruit custard.
Yeah.
And what we have here is we have a cardamom and rose custard that we're going to top with pomegranate, with some roasted pistachios, and with some dried rose petals. These are edible as these are organic.
Beautiful dessert items by Nisha. Wow, this looks so nice.
When I became a mom, I just became very confident in myself. While motherhood makes you question every little thing you do if you're doing it right, it also gives you the confidence to think you can do everything.
Yeah.
I realized how much I can juggle when I had my daughter. I realized that I look just as great without makeup as I do with makeup. And I also realized that I need to learn to love myself, whatever curve it is, whatever, you know, whatever portion of me, because the way I look at myself and, you know, I view myself will have a direct impact on my daughter.
How has she sort of reacted to the space? And, you know, when you look at her being as a part of your social media family, what are your hopes? What do you want her to learn from it?
So the one thing is that she knows when, you know, when we're taking pictures or when we're doing something, but I also try and give her that personal connection. So there's this company called Masala Baby.
Yes.
They, you know, they are beautiful, beautiful. They design beautiful dresses and outfits for children. And, you know, they're sourced in India. They're made by women in India. And the designers are here in New York.
Yeah.
They send dresses that are so perfect for my little girl because they have the beauty of India, but they're modern cuts. Their business, Bharat Babies, they are always sending us their beautiful books. They stand for diverse books. They send us their beautiful publications. When I show my daughter these books, I tell her Bharat Baby's auntie has sent you these books because she wants you to learn about Hanuman, or she wants you to learn about Ramji.
Yeah.
So it's much more natural for me to share something that I am using as opposed to a random shampoo and conditioner.
And it's the content with your daughter, then there's the content with food, and then there's the content of lifestyle DIY. What is, like, you know, what is your most preferred content? Like, what describes you? So, opening the floor on content creation with Nisha, Love, Laugh, Mirch.
So definitely the two top hitters for me are always food and culture.
Yeah.
So people love when I share how I'm teaching my daughter things about culture, whether it's like small tips to, you know, things I do, practices I do with her, to like our reads and the shows that we watch.
Yeah.
Those things for us really do well with our audience. And food. Easy recipes. Like, easy recipes do so well with us. Yeah. Of course, chai does great, but I feel like who doesn't like chai?
Chai is what Nisha's known for everybody. Her chai, please see our recipe that we show you on ITV Gold, especially.
Yeah, who doesn't like chai in a Bollywood song?
Yes,
so that is, you know, something that everyone likes. paste with some mint and coriander, basically fresh herbs. And so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add a spoon or two of that to the marinade that we're going to make. Go ahead and add some of that, and then you will add a tiny bit of oil, and that just helps bind everything together.
Definitely.
And then we have our ginger garlic paste. If you don't have the paste that you've made at home, you can buy pre-made, or you can honestly just grate some up. And then we're gonna add homemade yogurt as well.
Beautiful.
So my little one and I love yogurt, so I make it at home. And again, it's free of anything, free of any gelatin or pectin. And then you're just gonna go ahead and whisk that around. And then I will go ahead and add the masala. I've used some salt, I've used some jeera powder, which is cumin powder. I've used dhania powder, which is coriander powder, a little bit of lal mirch. I haven't used haldi because I want that bright green color to be there.
Right.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of chaat masala to it.
Beautiful. And if for all our viewers, this smells so good.
Thank you.
Especially the cumin. It's, I think, one of my favorites. It's everyone's favorite, isn't it?
It tastes so good in homemade yogurt with a little salt. It tastes so good. So in this, in the green chutney, in the marinade, we've gone ahead and added the peppers, the onions, and then you add the paneer, and you just make sure that everything is coated well. We're gonna go ahead now, and you're gonna add a little bit of your favorite cooking oil. You can also use butter or ghee, and just go ahead and coat whatever pan you are using. Add the paneer mixture to the pan. And you're just, honestly, you're coating it to make sure it doesn't stick.
Wow.
And
looks beautiful.
Thank you. And you'll go ahead and add it on there. And then what we'll do is we will go ahead and bake it. What you want to do is you want to preheat your oven to 425.
Okay.
And you're going to preheat it, and you're going to bake it for about 15 minutes, depending on the quantity you're making. And then the last 5 minutes are going to be on broil mode.
Okay.
Because you want a little bit of the vegetables and the paneer to char up, just like a tandoor would do.
Okay, so the bloggers or, you know, upcoming influencers that were watching you on ITV Gold, if I was to ask you a few key tips you could, you know, provide for them, or, you know, things that you've learned through your process that has helped you, perhaps with self-expression or anything else, what could you tell them?
Keeping my space light and positive is very important. I think that we have a lot of negativity in this world to begin with. So if my space can be like a place of happiness for you, I'm more than happy to be that space. Some women reach out to me saying that, you know, oh, you're so, like, we love the way you carry yourself, or we're, you know, like, you're a curvy woman and you're very confident. And I wasn't always as confident. I've been on crash diets. I've been on these yo-yo things. But since I had her, I realized if I don't love myself, and if she sees that, it will directly play on her confidence. And I would never want to jeopardize that. Yeah. So that's very important to me, to, you know, represent that in a positive way. The puzzle that we just did here, that was from a company called Desi Babies.
This one?
Yes.
And this one is Arya?
And I love that this puzzle, you know, we're always saying puzzles are so great for kids. Puzzles are so great for kids.
For sure.
But how amazing is it that she can relate to this puzzle and she can see what we teach her at home with this.
Yes, that's so true.
Forgot this.
Who is this?
Vishnuji.
Who is this? Vishnuji. And then this is JJ Hooray.
And this is JJ Hooray. So they have flashcards, and they created this gorgeous these stacking boxes, and I love it. There's a poem on each side, and it's different. It's all the different forms. It's a goddess tower, all the different forms, and it's so perfect for her because she loves Mata Rani.
Yes, where's the Mata Rani one here? Are they all Mata Ranis?
These are all forms of Mata Rani.
Yeah, Arya? Wow,
so
beautiful.
There's Parvati Ma, and then there's Lakshmi over here.
Saraswati. Durga. Ooh, Durga I like. You know that? Durga I like. Let's talk. When you look at the space Nisha has created and the kind of cultural awareness she raises, and it's so positive, and now you have her really connecting with young moms, you know, young South Asian women. How has your experience been with her, you know, being in this field? It's quite interesting, right, to be the husband of this big popular blogger?
Well, I mean, when she first started out, it was definitely we didn't know what was going to come out of it, but it kind of grew on me as time passed along. And honestly, I mean, the way I look at it is the younger generation, the newer generation is different.
Correct.
It's like they don't really connect to culture and you know, traditions as much.
Right.
So you can't really send them to a temple for them to connect and stuff. So it's people want everything on their hands.
That's true.
And
That's true.
she's kind of created that space where people are able to connect to their traditions and cultures anytime they want. And I feel it's a good way of trying to bring the younger generation up, because
respect for women. You know, you have a daughter,
Yep.
you have a wife. They force you to watch Bollywood movies. There's a lot of responsibility having, you know, that strong female presence in your life, and you know, taking care of that. What's your take on respect?
Well, I mean, for me at least, it comes naturally. I grew up with 3 women in the house.
Wow.
So I have 2 sisters and of course my mom. So I mean, I've always grown up to be respectful to my sisters and to my mom, and I feel it's kind of you know, you're coexisting together.
Right.
So if you don't really have that respect, or if you don't really have that trust between each other, then things would be rocky. So I still have great relationships with my sisters till this date, and yeah, I think, I mean, that's kind of carried over to them now. It's I mean, if there's no respect in a relationship, I feel it doesn't work.
And just one last question on a positive note, because Nisha loves that in her space.
Sure.
You know, culture is so important. You know, Nisha spoke to us so, Nisha really spoke to us about the importance of having that culture and how you both have sort of imbibed that into Arya. And Arya is, you know, learning, she's speaking, she is, you know, trying to portray, you know, that expression through the culture. What are your hopes for Arya?
Honestly, my only hope for Arya is like for her to grow up like her mom, her nani, her buas, her grandma. Basically, you know, to just basically be free and do what you want to do, and never listen to anyone that you cannot do something. It's like, if you want to do something, work for it and you'll get it. And that's all I wish for her. So.
And one last question for you.
Yes.
Describe to me what you feel about love, laugh, Mirch.
So I think you should give love whenever you can.
Yeah.
Because the more love you get, the more you'll get back. Laugh. That should just be the motto of life. You should stay happy. And Mirch, everyone should have a reason why their life is spicy. Whether you keep it spicy by cooking, whether you keep it spicy by an activity you like, or whether your little one in your life keeps it, you know, spicy. So
well, she has all of it. Well, this was none other than Nisha Pawar, everyone. She is our very own lifestyle blogger, food blogger, and so much more. Beautiful conversation. I hope you and I both learned a lot about taking care of our loved ones and truly bringing that Indian culture within. Well, I'm Aditi Lama with cameraman Raja Bhatti signing off, but come to us next time on Inside Scoop and let's see who else we bring on it. Signing off.